Welcome to Mitchell Levy Presents, where I dive into the essential elements of clarity and credibility. Hosted by global credibility expert Mitchell Levy, today's episode offers invaluable insights to make you think and act more credibly. Join us as we explore living your values, boosting your credibility, and leading purposefully. Hi, Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert, and I am so glad you are here. It truly is one of the funnest times of my day, but I did make an observation this week that like almost all the times of my day are fun times, but I still will say because of Anton Guinea, I am absolutely thinking this is going to rock and this is going to be a great part of my day. So, Anton, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Anton Guinea, husband of 32 years, Mitchell Levy. So that's probably my greatest achievement. Father of two boys who are amazing humans, and that's probably my second greatest achievement. And then the third greatest achievement is, and who I am is a business owner and a coach and a business trainer. And so I think it's really difficult, I think, for me to separate life and work. I work from home, I coach from home, I, go out and do this stuff from home. And um, I think, I was at this great event the other night. It's called the Tough Guys Book Club, where we get together. It was my first one, and I encourage everyone out there to Google Tough Guys Book Club, see if there's a chapter in your area. And we talk about a book that is the monthly book, and you've got to go around and talk about your last month, and you're not allowed to talk about work. Like, you literally, it's a banned topic. No one knows what anyone else does because no one ever talks about work. And it was really an eye opener for me to actually talk about my life without work. And I encourage everyone to try and do that, because we're not just our jobs, and even though we get a lot of identity from our jobs, but I think we need to talk about ourselves a little bit different rather than just the work we do, because I think it's about who we are. And I think that's a great question that you just asked, that who are you? Husband, father, business owner, I think probably in that order.
I love that. By the way, thank you.
Mm.
There are two paths to go down, and the most obvious one is the one I'm going to put on the side for a second, so I'll come back to that. You'll recognize when I come back. The thing that I'd like you to talk about is you had said, "Hey, I can't separate work from life,"
Mm.
right? Because so it's interesting. Some people um, work to live, the current generation. They'll work for a little bit, they'll make money, then they'll take off, and then they'll live.
Mm.
Some people live to work and hope that in their later years, they'll be able to retire, have the health and money to do what they want. But you, by the way, I'm in your camp. Um, if you love what you do, you're neither working, you are living, but you're not really working. It's not like that negative
Mm.
thing. Talk about that a little bit.
Like, it's another great question, Mitchell. If you ask my wife, she says that I work a lot, and like, I'm in the office at 6 and I try to walk out of the office at 5, but I usually go back in for a little while in the evening. And like, I don't feel like I work that hard. Like, it's weird, because when you love what you do, it doesn't actually, here's the thing though, and I don't want people out there to think that, find your passion and you never work a day in your life, because that's bollocks, because you still got to show up. You still got to get up, dress up and show up. And so I enjoy the chase. I enjoy marketing, and I enjoy going out and phoning people and saying, "Hey, buy my stuff." And I don't mind the rejections. It's only the first 100 that hurt, is what I say to people when I'm coaching salespeople or leaders. That, but for me, being there, being productive, creating stuff, doing, the work that I do, I'm sitting with humans most days, and I'm an extroverted extrovert. So I have zero issue elevating my energy state to get up and to be there for other humans. And most of it's done from home. And so really, like, people come here, like, they, and some days I might do 5 or 6, and I've done more than that, coaching sessions in a day, and our front door is a revolving door. And so like I don't have to go anywhere. And it's like really difficult to say, well, this is work and this is life, because for me, the whole thing and here's a better way to put it. And this is probably a lead like Lasso, Ted Lasso, because I'm into leading like Lasso at the moment. Leadership is life. And for me, I do leadership as a job and I do leadership in life. And so I think, and I think we've all got different leadership roles in our existences, like a husband role as a leader role, a parent role as a leader role. And of course, for me as a leadership coach, I've sort of got to lead, as a business owner, I've got to lead, but I've also got to lead other humans as well. And so, yeah, it's such a tough question that no, it's not a tough question. It's just a tough thing to dissect for a lot of people. And coming back to what you said before, Mitchell, do I work to live or do I live to work? I don't think I do either. I think I lead my life in a way that I find is productive, that I find is conducive to the way my family want me to be there for them. I'm at the gym at 4 in the morning and sometimes 5 in the afternoon, and it suits my lifestyle. And as long as you're happy, I think I have a very high level of life satisfaction index, working and living, leading and living.
By the way, I'm going to say thank you. That was a trick question. I often don't do trick questions on leaders living their values. I always do when I'm talking to people, certainly clients. But I gave you one of two answers, and of course, it's answer number 3. Right? I don't work to live. I don't live to work. I live. I happen to live in a way that I'm happy. I happen to live in a way that I add value. Right? So thank you for that.
Well said.
So well done. But so you said this a couple of times. You opened up by saying that you have 2 boys, which are great humans. What does that mean?
And you and I, we've had this conversation before. So in our leadership programs, I write 4 words across the top of the butcher's paper at the start of the day. Be a good human. Now, this is the thing, Mitchell Levy. Like, you think about a lot of the leadership concepts that we talk about. So you think about integrity. Like, I've got a podcast on influence, respect, professionalism. These are big words, right? That have got these big connotation, credibility, that leaders just roll off their tongue. I want to be credible, or I want to be trustworthy, or I want to be known. But how do you define them? And I love it when people like you ask those big questions. How do you define being a good human? And for me, it's as simple as this. Do you leave people better than you found them? Do you do more good than harm? Do you help rather than hurt? Do you heal more than you harm? Now, because here's the thing. If it's not intentional for you to be a good human, the possibility is that unintentionally you will harm. And so for me, and that's like, I show up with energy, and that's what it means for me, because I know that I get emotional contagion. If you show up energetically, other people will rise around you, and your energy is contagious. Be the person that lights the room up when you walk in, not when you walk out. And so for me, I've got these 2 young humans who sort of get that, but they've heard me talk about it for a couple of decades or so. And so I think being a good human is simply, and I think there's probably a few more layers that we could talk about, but it is about leaving people better than you found them. And here's another thing, and this comes from all the way from my favorite teacher ever, my lovely wife, Mrs. G, who was a school teacher for 20 years. She said, Anton, those boys in there, she got all the bouncy boys that were a bit of a challenge for other humans and other teachers. But she loved them. She said, I had 2 bouncy boys. I get bouncy boys. Give me all the bouncy boys, because I will see the best in them. And I think that's being a good human. But Mrs. G always says, I never remember what I told them. And this now I heard this first from Mrs. G. This has become commonplace now. And I don't know where she heard it. I heard it first from Mrs. G a decade ago. I never remember what I teach them. I only remember how I made them feel. And so I think, that is being a good human, seeing the best in others as well. So there's probably a few examples that we can use, but that's what it means to me.
Nice. So give me an example of one of your two boys on how they're a good human.
Uh, so, well, let's take Tobes for a start. So our eldest, and I did a TEDx talk on this, Mitchell. Toby is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful soul. So Tobes is our firstborn. Tobes is he's a high IQ person. So he was lucky enough to get his mum's smarts, as I say. And if you talk to Tobes, you would sort of not know that he was a born leader. And only 10% of people are. Now, why do I say that and why can I say that? Because get this. So, and watch this TEDx talk because it's an interesting take on the world. So in grade 1, Toby turns up to school. In Australia, we have grade 1, or we've probably got a year or two before that now, but back in the day, it used to be grade 1. In his first week of grade 1, he came home and he said to his mum and dad, me and Jules, who are the two kids up there on stage holding that thing that they were, near their mouth and that? And we said, oh, they're the school captains. And Toby said, oh, that's interesting. He said, I think I'll do that. And we went, you'll be the school captain. And of course, his mum, says, oh, that, and Tobes, go your hardest. So for 6 years until, grade 6, Tobes never thought any different. I'll just be school captain. And that's like leadership is taken, not given. Now, when you're a leader, the people follow you. And if people follow you, it's because that they're getting something from that. So anyway, he never got school captain in grade 7. It came down to 2, him and Hugh, and he missed out and he was shattered because he's a really soft, gentle human. And then the next morning, so he cried himself to sleep that night at the ripe old age of about 11 with this goal that he had for 5 years. And then he came down the next morning all chipper and all happy. And he said, don't worry, Mum and Dad, the school captain in grade 12 too. And it's like, whoa, this is like a kid. A kid. Imagine if you could give adults this sort of resilience, this reframing, this reasoning, these skills, anyway, and tenacity. So anyway, he gets school captain in grade 12. Now, he made that decision at 5 years of age. Now, he was chosen by his peers, by the student leader group. By the teacher leadership group. And, he made such a big difference to that school in the year that he was there because it meant something to him. And I think, and I won't give, it's too long to give examples, but leadership is taken, not given. And when you're a born leader, you go out and you'll make the difference and you'll leave places like a school a better place than when you found it. And that's a big deal. Is that okay as an example?
No, I appreciate that. I just so people don't misinterpret the word taken, because taken could have a negative connotation. You could be, you could go to war and one country takes another country and that's what you're advocating. And that's not what you're advocating.
That's it. Like leadership taken means stepping forward. It means making decisions above your pay grade that are legal, moral, and ethical, the right things to do, with initiative, and they're influencing change. That is leadership that's taken.
I like the not given, by the way, just so you know. I might encourage, and I'll just put a word out there and we'll move to the next topic, but I might encourage you thinking about emboldened or emblazoned, or
Mm.
leadership is embodied, not given.
Good word. I like it. I'll find another word for taken. You're the first person that's ever challenged that. So I'll think about another
Well,
relevant word.
thank you. I mean, I love the concept, and when
Mm.
you explained it, I love what you mean. It's just, if out of context, it could be taken wrong, but if we use
Sure.
the word leadership is embodied, which, by the way, may not be a bad word, but maybe there's a better. Leadership is embodied, not given.
Mm.
That that is amazing for everyone who has the title,
That's
but
right.
they don't
Oh,
embody it.
that's a good call. Because it's really when I talk about that, it's really about it's about being, not doing. It's
Yeah.
about being the people that others want to follow, and yeah, and I think it's certainly with a positive context, and we talk about, like, I've got a podcast on influence, as you know, which you've been on, and people always talk about that juxtaposition or that dichotomy. They say influence is great, good topic if used for good, because remember, we can negatively influence people, and sometimes we learn more from those that have negatively influenced us. We learn from poor leaders. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for that.
Indeed.
Thanks.
Oh, no, it's interesting. I love that. I will use this.
Mm.
And I'll either use the word embodied or whatever word you tell me I should use. But taken is not one. So it was interesting when you were talking about leadership before.
Mm.
You were talking about as a in your position, in your role, you're a leader. As a coach, you're a leader. As a parent, you're a leader. Um, and I think you just forgot to say, as a child, you're a leader, because the
That's
story you gave about your oldest, he was leading you to be a better person.
absolutely great call. Great call. Agreed. So as a child, your leader, is there a question? Would you like me to elaborate?
No, I think the reaction itself is powerful enough, because what it shows is, because you're good at what you do. You've been out there, like you've done. You get to stages. You teach people. You change lives, and then we get stuck in words that mean something, but we don't always have somebody go, well, what does that really mean, or what does that really affect? And the thing is, you're showing that you're coachable. You're showing that you're vulnerable. You don't need to respond. You're like, "Oh, yeah." Like, you wanna use a curse word and say, "How did I forget about that?" And it wasn't that you forget, it's just that your words have such bigger meanings given the influence you have on the people that you touch.
Wow. Great reflection. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, it's so
And
worth it. I mean, you're so good at what you do. Um,
thank you.
are you
And
welcome.
you're right. Some people, Mitchell, can I just elaborate on that? Some people actually, when
Please.
I ask them who's your biggest influence, they'll say their kids. And it's funny that you actually pick that up then, because I probably haven't really that hasn't probably sunk as much as it probably just did then when you said it. That the amount that I've learnt from my kids so let's talk about my youngest. My youngest was a real estate agent born with people skills and uh, sell iced Eskimos, but decided he watched the movie Top Gun one day and he decided that he wanted to become a naval aviator. Come home, made a big decision. Announcing, I'm going to become a naval aviator, selling my house, quitting my job, moving away, going to join the Navy to fly helicopters onto aircraft carriers.
I tell you, the Guineas are a very interesting family. We'll just put it that way.
What did my mum used to say, Mitchell? Special, not different, and different, not special. Different, not special. And anyway, so he is just like this chart new territory. Now he's a commercial pilot flying up in the most beautiful part of Queensland. He's flying charter planes up there. And when you look at leadership, personal leadership, he's just just a perfect example of you can do whatever you want in life. And I think that's what we encourage our kids to believe, and he's embodying that. And I love the fact that he's doing that. And he talks about sharing, like it's you're right. That great story. What's the bricklayer doing? Well, I'm laying brick. Well, I'm building a structure. I'm creating a dream dwelling so that people can live their dream. He's a tour guide, and he doesn't just talk about flying planes. He talks about the experience for the people that he takes out and showing them this beautiful state that we've got and sharing with them, these ideals, some of the most picturesque, Great Barrier Reef, some of the most picturesque beaches in the world, literally Whitehaven Beach and these beautiful places that some of your American, stars have got houses on Hamilton Island or around that area. It's so beautiful. And he gets to share that with the planet. And he's had who's he had? Oasis turn up. He's a big Oasis fan. He's got an Oasis tattoo, and he didn't get too close, but he's seen their private jet land and all the rest of it. But he just shares that with the rest of the planet. So
That's lovely. Well, what's interesting to me is the concept. So one of the concepts I talk about is likability, and likability in terms of being credible are two elements: uh, showing respect and sharing your stage. And so, what's the first thing you did? You had me on your stage. What's another thing you did? You quote other authors. You spread their cred dust. And then on respect, you came early. No, this is a really interesting. You came early and your equipment still didn't function, right? And it's like the cool part is we had extra time. We got to calm. We got to focus, right? We got to get into the right layer. But imagine if you came 5 minutes late, which some people do, and starting compress the time. If you didn't show me that level of respect, where did that come from? How did that be part of your life?
Well, I think, Mitchell, a couple of layers. One, I think so if we chunked it up, we'd call it respect. If we chunked it down, we would call it I value your time. And we as humans, I think, don't understand sometimes that time is such a big deal. It's yes, we're talking about time and respect in the same conversation, and that's because valuing someone's time is extremely respectful. And I haven't always been like that, but I did my disc profile one time, and it said, "Stop being late," because you're a high, you're an extrovert, so you're always talking, so you never really focus on it. And one day I just decided, because it was on my page 19, what's your one improvement item? Be on time. And it was probably 10 or 15 years ago. And I decided to start with value my own time. And then when you value your own time, you get it. It sinks for you, because then you really internalize it. And then you can take that out and value other people's time. And then we can have a conversation like this where you go, thank you for showing up on time and valuing time. And I think, respect is it. Let's go to that word, because a lot of people might not know exactly what that is. But actually, I'll answer your question first. Where did it come from? It came from valuing my own time first, because I know that how important that is, because no one else does. Not a lot of people value my time like you and I do. They are late for meetings, or they're, I had someone say to me one day, well, I booked half an hour, but they rang at about, let's say, 20 past the hour and said, oh, you're in my calendar for half an hour. I only need 10 minutes. So I'll do the last 10 minutes of our half hour. Like we all look at time differently, don't we? And it's the one thing that I coach leaders. Use your calendar, use your schedule. If you're not, you will never be on time. And just value yourself enough and value your own time enough that you put stuff in your calendar, that you're going to use your calendar as your, use AI these days. But let's chunk up respect. So respect is not violating intentionally someone else's values, their beliefs, or their emotional state, because they're the things that drive behavior, right? Now, if I wanted to get under someone's skin, it's quite easy to do. You have a conversation, or you make a comment around something that's highly emotional. So whether it's politics, religion, sex, the things that we're never supposed to talk about, and have a really strong opinion and violate their belief system. And that's what respect is. And that's what psychological safety is. Let's chunk it up one more level. Psych safety in the workplace is actually not deliberately, because unintentionally this stuff happens, and I get that, but not deliberately going out to violate someone's beliefs, and not only their beliefs. There's a level that sits above beliefs, and it's called conviction. Like we're conditioned to, have the beliefs that we've grown up with, that it's important to be on time, that money doesn't grow on trees, or our religious beliefs or whatever. But above that, there's this conviction. There's things that you will die on the hill for. What are the things that you're going to die on the hill for? They're your convictions. If I challenge your conviction, I'm never going to change them. Now, if I challenge them, that'll drive an emotional state. And so that's what respect is. And because here's the thing, Mitchell, humans, and I had this conversation in a coaching session yesterday, that we hold other people account to our values, not theirs. And all of a sudden we're challenging their values based on ours. Why would we do that? Why can't we be more? And respect is about acceptance to me, and it's about, we can then have the I&D conversation, inclusion and diversity, but I think it's about knowing that other people have got different beliefs and values and emotional states to ours, and that's okay. Maybe we need to put our Ryan Holiday hat on and be a little bit more stoic and just say, well, you know what? That's okay. They're different to us, and they do them and we do me, and we meet in the middle, and we'll have a respectful conversation, and we won't let it get too emotional. So,
dude, that was gold. That was absolutely gold. I love that. Respect is not violating somebody else's values. Like I will spread your cred dust for as long as I live with that statement.
you are
So
too kind.
thank you. Dude, that was amazing. Hey, listen, if you're excited about Anton Guinea as I am, and you want to reach out to him, please do. Anton, what is it? And stick around for the last question. What is the best way for people to reach out to you?
AntonGuinea.com.au, Mitchell Levy, AntonGuinea.com.au. You will find me fairly quickly and easily if you try.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So listen, I did mention to you that I didn't know where the conversation would go. It went based on how you answered your first question. And what I'd like to ask is there a particular question you would have liked me to ask that I didn't?
Well, that's an interesting one, because I would answer that by saying, should I be on here selling? And then would there be a question around, hey, who do you serve, and all those sorts of things? And then I could sprinkle some of your cred dust. I love that saying. I'm going to use that in the future. Whereas you could have asked me a question around, what does executive abundance mean to you, which was the book that you wrote. And I've just started reading it. I've read the first chapter, as I've mentioned, and I sent you through that note to say good stuff. So you could have asked me about that, or you could have asked me about our clients. And I'm just talking now because I'm thinking on my feet. And if there was another question you could have asked me, I tell you the question you could have asked me, Anton, how does this all relate back to the big topic of psychological safety in organizations at the moment? That is probably on the tip of most leaders' tongues because it's such a big topic in workplaces these days. And the way that I would have answered it was, I said, we've got a book called Speak Safe, which is about the care process, communicate with acceptance, responsibility, and empathy. And that probably sums up the conversation we've had today. Acceptance, be responsible for your words and your impact on the planet. And then empathy, so understand other people's perspective. And if you can do that, you will be likable. People will get to know you and they'll get to trust you, and then you'll be able to influence them. And I think influence is a big topic as well. And I've had 180 conversations around that. So that was pretty cool fun.
Dude, that was amazing. Thank you. It's really hard. It's really hard when you have a stage not to want to sell. It's just who we are. It's ingrained in who we are.
Exactly,
But
100%.
I think choosing the path you chose is one in which will allow people to go, I really want to be around this guy, right? I really want to learn more. And so I would highly, Anton, I'm going to say thank you. It was a great
Thank you,
conversation.
Mitchell.
You
You're
did
amazing.
amazing. And listen, if Anton Guinea sort of reached you in a way that you had shivers and you reach out to him, go to antonguinea.com.au and learn a little bit more. And at this stage, I just want to say thank you for joining me on these weekly episodes. I'm excited to have you in my audience. And what I'd like you to be able to do is take that aha moment that really resonated for you and share Anton's cred dust. So put it on the social platform that's relevant for you. Make sure you tag me, tag him, and we will respond. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Leaders Living Their Values. Take care, everyone. Be good. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in today's episode. Like, subscribe, and share your aha moments on your preferred platform. Remember, credibility starts with clarity and living your values. Learn more at mitchelllevy.com. Until next time.